Have you ever thought about a person who fought more than 60 sword fights in his life and never lost a single one? He was not just a warrior, he was a strategist, he was a philosopher, and above all, he understood the human mind. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. Written about 400 years ago, his book, The Book of Five Rings, is still read today by business leaders, athletes, soldiers, and high performers. But the question is, what was such a mindset that made him almost invincible? Can his strategies work in today's world too? If you want to grow in your career, if you want to become mentally strong, if you want to learn to make the right decisions in every situation, then be sure to watch today's video till the end, because the last principle might change your thinking forever. Miyamoto Musashi was born in the feudal era of Japan. He had won his first duel fight at the age of just 13, but his biggest strength was not in his sword. His biggest strength was his way of thinking. Musashi believed that the real war does not happen outside. It first runs inside us, against fear, against laziness, against ego, and against illusion. He wrote this very experience in his final book, The Book of Five Rings. This book is not just a book about winning a war, it is a book about winning life. Let's know those 9 strategic principles that worked 400 years ago and are just as powerful today. Principle 1. Accept reality as it is. Miyamoto Musashi wrote a very simple yet life-changing thing in his book. Accept the truth in the exact form as it is. At first glance, this may sound very simple, but if you think deeply, most people lose the biggest battle of their lives right here. Why? Because we do not fight reality, we fight our expectations. We want people to always behave according to us. We want every plan to succeed, every relationship to go just the way we want, and every opportunity to come only to us. But life does not run according to our desires. It runs by its own rules, and Musashi understood this long ago. Many times, warriors came before him who were taller, stronger, and better equipped with weapons. If he had sat and thought, this fight is unfair, then maybe he would have never become a part of history. But he did not complain. He accepted the situation, then thought with a calm mind, made a strategy, and turned that very circumstance into his strength. This is the hallmark of a great strategist. He does not blame circumstances. He utilizes circumstances. Interestingly, modern psychology also says the same thing. When we accept a difficult situation, our brain stops sticking to the problem and starts finding a solution. Now think about your own life. Suppose you suddenly lose your job. At that moment, you will have 2 paths. The first path, blame luck, hold others responsible, and stay trapped in that grief for months. The second path, accept reality, learn new skills, expand your network, and look for new possibilities. Both people's situations are the same, but their future will be decided by their thinking. This is strategic thinking. Even in relationships, we often try to change people, but the truth is, no person changes just by our desire. What can change is our perspective of looking at them. In business too, the market does not care about your emotions. If the world is changing, you have to change too. Remember, accepting reality is not giving up. Rather, the real fight starts right from here. A person who runs away from the truth loses his energy in complaints, but a person who accepts the truth puts all his energy into creating a solution, and in the end, victory belongs to him. But this was only the first principle. The next principle will tell you what you need to conquer before conquering the world. Principle 2. Conquer yourself first. Imagine for a moment that you conquered the world, earned a name, earned money, and people praise you. But at one little thing, You cannot control your anger. One criticism and your confidence breaks. One failure and you give up. Would you really call this a victory? Miyamoto Musashi's answer was no. He believed the hardest war is not fought against another human being. The hardest war is fought against our own mind, against fear, against laziness, against anger, and against those desires that distract us from our destination. History tells us that Musashi spent a large part of his life traveling alone. He practiced constantly, meditated, reviewed every decision of his, and even after every victory, he asked himself, how can I become even better? Because he knew that if the mind is unstable, even the sharpest sword cannot save you. Today we do not hold a sword in our hands, but we have a weapon much more powerful than that, our attention, and this is in the greatest danger today. Every few minutes, the phone rings, a new notification, a new reel, a new message, and without realizing it, our attention is split into pieces. Modern psychology shows that the small dopamine rewards we continuously receive weaken our brain's ability to think deeply. This is why many people, despite being talented, never reach their full potential. They lack self-control, not talent. If you want to grow in your career, control your time first. If you want to build a successful business, do not let your emotions make decisions. If you want strong relationships, stop the habit of answering every matter immediately. Understand first, then react. Remember, a person who has won his mind becomes extremely difficult to defeat because the outer world keeps changing, but a mind that is stable never changes its direction. Musashi's real strength was not his sword. His greatest weapon was his disciplined mind, and perhaps this is the strength most needed in today's world. But the question is, if control over the mind is so necessary, can only hard work bring success? Or is something else needed for victory? Let's find out the answer in the next principle. Principle 3. Don't just work hard, work with strategy. This is where most people make the biggest mistake. They think the more hours they work, the more success they will get. But Miyamoto Musashi's thinking was completely different. He believed victory does not come just from strength. Victory comes from the right strategy. To understand this, remember one of his most famous fights. He faced Japan's famous swordsman Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro was famous for his extraordinary swordsmanship. Many people believed that defeating him was almost impossible. But Musashi did not rely solely on the edge of his sword. He understood the mind of his opponent. According to history, he arrived late for the set time. This was not just a delay, this was part of his strategy. Waiting and waiting, Kojiro's patience began to break. His anger increased, and as his anger increased, his concentration decreased. By the time the fight started, Musashi was already calm, and his opponent was fighting his own emotions. This is the power of strategic thinking. Great players achieve half their victory even before the fight begins. Now connect this to your own life. How many people stay busy from morning till night, but at the end of the day, they feel they haven't done any major work? Because staying busy and working in the right direction are two different things. Being busy is not a guarantee of being productive. If you want to grow in your career, ask yourself just one question every morning. Am I working on the most important task today? If the answer is no, perhaps you need to change your strategy. In business too, not every opportunity is a good opportunity. Successful people do not open every door, they choose the right door. In relationships too, it is not necessary to win every argument. Many times, remaining silent is the wisest decision. Musashi teaches us that energy is limited. Do not spend it everywhere. Put it where it makes its biggest impact. Remember, Hard work without strategy can only make you tired, but hard work with strategy can take you to your destination. And now that you have understood the power of strategy, the next principle will tell you that a person who stops learning gradually stops winning too. Principle 4. Never stop learning. If you only know about Miyamoto Musashi, that he was a great samurai, then you do not know the most important part of his story. Musashi did not just learn sword fighting. He painted, practiced calligraphy, carved art on wood and stone, observed nature for hours, and most importantly, he studied human behavior deeply. Why? Because he had understood that real knowledge never comes from just one place. Every person, every experience, every failure can teach you something. You just need the eye to learn. Musashi searched for patterns in everything. He wanted to understand what rules work behind winning and losing. This habit made him different from other warriors. Now look at today's world. The world is changing faster than ever before. The skill that is most valuable today might not even be needed 5 years from now. In such a world, a person who stops learning gradually gets left behind. Remember, a degree can give you a start, but the habit of continuous learning keeps you moving forward. Bring this scene into your mind. 2 people start a job at the same company on the same day. The first person does the same work every day, thinking whatever he knows is enough. The second person learns something new every month. New technology, new skills, a new book, conversations with new people. 1 year later, their starts were the same, but now their destinations are completely different. One is standing right where he started. The other is handling new responsibilities and has moved toward new heights. The only difference was that one worked and the other continued to learn along with work. This principle applies in relationships too. A person who only knows how to speak makes limited relationships, but a person who learns to listen wins people's trust. In business too, one who fears change is slowly pushed out of the market, but one who learns something new from every change stays for the long term. Therefore, every night before sleeping, ask yourself just one question. What did I learn today that will make me better than yesterday? If you have the answer to this question every day, trust me, you are moving in the right direction, because the day a person stops learning, his growth stops too. But on the path of learning, an enemy stands that is not outside, but inside us, and its name is ego. Principle 5. Do not let your ego become your master. The world's most dangerous enemy is not always outside. Sometimes it is hidden inside us, and its name is ego. The biggest trick of ego is that it is never visible to us. It slowly takes over our thinking and then makes us believe that we know everything. This is where the downfall begins. Miyamoto Musashi won dozens of duels in his life. He came to be considered the greatest swordsman of his time. But even after such a huge success, he never considered himself invincible. After every victory, he practiced again, reflected on his mistakes, and learned new techniques. Because he knew that the day a person stops learning, his defeat begins. This is why truly great people do not stop at their achievements. After every success, they ask themselves, how can I become even better than this? Now look at today's world. As soon as many people achieve a little success, they stop listening to advice, stop taking feedback, and most importantly, they stop admitting their mistakes. Psychology also says the same thing. Our ego always wants to prove us right. It cares more about its image than the truth. But growth begins when we accept that we cannot be right all the time. Imagine if your manager at the office points out a mistake of yours. You have 2 choices. First, defend yourself immediately. Second, listen carefully, understand, and improve yourself. Similarly, if a customer criticizes your business, do not take it as an attack. They are giving you a free opportunity to improve your business. In relationships too, if someone close complains about a habit of yours, do not take it as an insult. Perhaps they do not want to lose you, but want to see you become better. Remember, ego always says, I am right, but wisdom says, perhaps I can learn something new. A weak person wants to win every argument. A strong person wants to learn from every experience. And in the end, the one who moves forward is not the one who runs away from mistakes, but the one who learns from them. But just learning is not enough. If that learning is not turned into daily habits, that knowledge is gradually forgotten, which leads us to Musashi's next and perhaps most practical principle. Principle 6. Discipline is far more powerful than motivation. We all love motivation. We watch an inspirational video, read a great book, or listen to the story of a successful person, and for a short time it feels like our life is going to change. But 2 hours later or the very next day, everything is back to normal. The same procrastination, the same excuses, the same unfulfilled dreams. This is why Musashi never relied on motivation. He relied on discipline. He believed emotions keep changing, but habits make a person's future. Therefore, he practiced every day, improved himself every day, followed discipline every day, whether he felt like it or not at all. This was the reason that when the day of battle came, he didn't need to prepare himself. His body was already prepared. His mind was already calm, and his reaction had already become a part of his practice. This is the real power of discipline. Even today, the world's most successful people do not wake up inspired every morning. No one's every day is full of enthusiasm. Still, they do their work because they made their habits their leader, not their mood. Just think, if an athlete practiced only on the days he felt like it, would he ever become a champion? Probably not. If a writer wrote only when inspiration struck, perhaps his book would never be completed. And if an entrepreneur gave up on every difficult day, his dream would remain just a dream. This is why success is not the result of one big decision. It is the result of thousands of small, disciplined decisions. If you want to get fit, do not wait for motivation. Just start walking for 30 minutes every day. If you want to write a book, do not wait for the right mood. Write a few lines every day, even if it's small. If you want to build your business, do not try to change everything in a single day. Take one small step every day, because small steps gradually turn into extraordinary results. Remember, motivation can give you the inspiration to start, but when the path becomes difficult, when the mind wants to give up, when no one is watching your hard work, only one thing will push you forward: discipline. Because discipline is the bridge that connects your dreams to your reality. And now we have reached the last 3 principles of Musashi's teaching, which teach us not just to win, but to live wisely in every situation. Principle 7. Observe more, react less. If Miyamoto Musashi's greatest strength were asked, the answer might not be his sword. His greatest strength was his ability to see, because most people see less and react more. If someone says something, reply immediately. If someone comments on social media, argue immediately. If someone criticizes in the office, get angry immediately, without thinking, without understanding, just flowing in emotions. But Musashi was not like that. He would remain silent first, then watch, understand, and then make a decision. For him, observation was also a weapon. Historical accounts tell us that before any duel, he carefully observed his opponent's moves, the rhythm of his breathing, the way he stood, and even his self-confidence, because he knew that every person reveals a lot without speaking, and a person who learns to observe carefully understands things that escape the notice of others. In today's world too, this is one of the rarest skills. When everyone is speaking, learn to listen. When everyone is making hasty decisions, learn to stop and understand. This is the mark of strategic thinking. Imagine an office meeting is going on. Suddenly your boss points out your mistake in front of everyone. At that moment, anger rising inside you is natural. You can answer back immediately. But would that be the wisest decision? Probably not. If you stay calm for a few moments, understand the whole matter, and talk later with a solution, that same incident can turn into a major turning point in your career. This is the difference between reacting from emotions and responding with understanding. In relationships too, many arguments happen not because people do not love each other. They happen because people do not listen. They just wait for their turn. But a person who understands first is able to maintain relationships for a long time. Remember, every reaction is not a sign of strength. Many times the greatest strength is staying calm, because a calm mind can see what a mind drowned in anger can never see. And this is the hallmark of a great strategist. But just seeing and understanding is not enough. The world keeps changing. Circumstances change, people change, rules change, and the person who learns to change himself along with these changes becomes almost impossible to defeat. This is Musashi's next and extremely powerful principle. Principle 8. Be like water. If any single element of nature can teach us the greatest strategy, it is water. Look at water carefully. It is not rigid, yet over time it cuts through rocks. It adopts the shape of any container. Whether it becomes a river, rain, or ocean, its strength remains in every form. This is why Miyamoto Musashi believed that a person who does not learn to change breaks one day, but the one who adapts himself according to the circumstances becomes extremely difficult to defeat. Musashi never relied on just one method. Every opponent was different, so his strategy for every fight was also different. He first understood the other person, recognized his strength, saw his weaknesses, and then changed his method accordingly. This was the reason that predicting his next move was almost impossible. Now think about your own life. Today's world is changing every day. New technology is coming. Demand for new skills is increasing. Ways of working are changing. The methods of those who were successful 5 years ago might not work today. If you stick to old methods just because you fear change, the world will gradually move ahead of you. Learn new things in your career, accept new responsibilities, step out of your comfort zone. In business, understand the direction of the market. If customers' needs change, you must change too. In relationships, every person is different. Everyone cannot be understood in the same way. If you only try to force your point, relationships will start weakening. But if you learn to understand, trust will naturally strengthen. Remember, stubbornness is not always a sign of strength. Many times it becomes our biggest weakness, because rigid trees break in a storm, but flexible branches bend and survive. Water never makes noise, never fights, yet slowly it makes its path. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson. Strength is not always in being rigid. Many times strength lies in changing according to the time. But after all these principles, one question remains. If fear is seated inside a person, can he ever move forward? This question leads us to Musashi's last and deepest principle. Principle 9. Live with purpose, not with fear. Every human being fears something: failing, what people will say, losing money, relationships breaking, the uncertainty of the future. Fear is not a weakness. It is a part of being human. But this is where most people stop. They give up their dreams just because they are afraid to take the first step. Miyamoto Musashi was not unaware of danger. He spent his entire life in an era where every duel could be a decision between life and death. But he did not let fear dictate his direction. He understood one thing: fear will always remain. The question is not whether you feel fear or not. The question is whether you move forward despite fear or not. This is the real definition of courage. Courage is not the disappearance of fear. Courage is the decision to do the right thing despite fear. Just imagine if Musashi had stepped back before every fight thinking, what if I lose? What if I die? Would the world know his name today? Probably not. And now think about yourself. How many dreams remained unfulfilled just because you did not start? How many opportunities slipped away just because you feared the opinions of others? Remember, The biggest battle of your life is not with another human being. It is with your own fear, and there is only one way to win that battle. Take the first step, even if it is small, because many times, to change your life, you don't need a massive opportunity. Just one courageous decision is enough. Remember, a great warrior is not the one who wins every battle. A great warrior is the one who makes himself better than yesterday every single day. Because in the end, the biggest victory in life is not over others, but over oneself. If you learned even a single principle from today's video, do not just leave it at listening. Make it a part of your life starting today, right now. Because the real power of knowledge is not in knowing it, but in living it. Now I want to ask you a question. Out of these 9 principles, which principle impacted you the most? Be sure to write your answer in the comment section. I would love to read your thoughts. If you liked this video and felt it could make someone else's life better too, like this video, share it with your friends and family. And if you want to learn more deep insights related to history, psychology, philosophy and self-improvement, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, because every book is not just a story. It gives a new perspective to look at life. We will meet again with another timeless book, another great thinker, and on a journey that helps you become a better version of yourself every day. Until then, keep learning, keep thinking, stay disciplined, and remember, the biggest battle is always with your own mind, and the person who wins that battle cannot be stopped by any challenge in the world for long. Thank you. See you in the next video.